Hello and welcome on 360 Sport on Trust TV. I am Adeni Ajishafe. We just have to quickly look at the activities in the world of sport. It was a good night for the man of the moment, talking about Francis Uzoho. A very good night for him because he was able to do it against Manchester United. Outstanding performance for the Nigerian goalkeeper, for the fact that out of 14, he was able to save at least 13 before the final one got in through Mark Tomine. Well, that's a good one there. And right now, we start from handball, National Division 1 Handball League taking place in Benin City, where all the teams are participating in this competition. National Division 1 Handball League, Bende Dynamos edge Delta Force as it went down over there in Benin City for men and women. Quickly, let's look at the results of the matches played in Benin City. As we talk about Bende Dynamos, they won by just a point ahead of Delta Force. They couldn't get their force together. They lost by just a point, 26-25. Conference Kings 28, Ida Pillars 26. And for women category, you have Delta Force. They played the same point against Abia Valiant in that particular game. Tough one, but really, the teams are coasting home. Abia Valiant, Delta Force for women, and Bender Dynamos, Conference Kings, Ida Pillars, and Delta Force fighting for honors at the National Division 1 Handball League taking place in Day 3 that was played in Benin City. They will be fighting to see which team will be qualifying for the Prudent Energy Handball League. Good one there. At least we have to talk about them. They've been doing well in Benin City. While we go, so the one that will be happening today, our ladies, Flamingos, they'll be playing against New Zealand in the match that will be coming by 12:30 this afternoon. That will be the time where Nigeria will be fighting out against New Zealand in their 2022. That's the next story. That the president of NFF, Ibrahim Gusso, charges Flamingos to beat New Zealand. At Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. That's the stadium where they'll be fighting for honors between Nigeria and New Zealand. New Zealand lost their first game against Chile by 3-1. Nigeria lost against Germany by 2-1. And the two of them will be facing by 12:30 this afternoon. Well, according to NFL president, go out there, do it against New Zealand by defeating them. At least if they are able to win by 2-0, that will give them an edge to come at least on the table as second. And right now, Nigerians are hoping to see what they will be doing concerning that. Let's have, we have our guests from Kaduna and also in Lagos who will be joining us. First of all, let's talk about it with you. Tunji Oyeleke, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, we have Feromi Jeremiah from Lagos. Good to have you, Feromi.
Yes, thank you very much, Ajishafe. Thanks for having me around.
Okay, good one. Let's start with the 2022 World Cup. Talking about the Flamingos, they'll be fighting against New Zealand by 12:30. The first game, they did well in the first half before they lost out in the second half against Germany. But now they'll be facing New Zealand, who lost against Chile. Tunji Oyeleke, what do you see about this game as it's coming up by 12:30?
Well, so once again, thank you very much for having me. Good morning to everyone. My brother in Lagos, I hope you're doing good. Anyway, that particular game, I'll say I was pretty disappointed about how we managed in that match. Because obviously you can see that the talent is there in the team. The girls are hungry to get things, to get the points, to get things done. They want to win. You can see the hunger in the team. And if we cast our mind back to the Under-17 Nations Cup, with the way we performed in in the previous competition, you would actually see that the talent is there. Is just a little, they still have a little bit of work to do when it comes to the team cohesion, their combination play, and then using our chances where we get them. That's usually the remarkable difference between Nigerian teams at all levels, and especially when we play European opposition. Europeans may not create all of the chances for you, but once they get their chances, they use them. And that was what we saw against the ladies from Germany. So I'm expecting to see a team that is hungrier, and I'm expecting to see a team that will go all out attack, go out there to win. New Zealand, so we expect to pile up the pressure on them. I don't want a situation where we are piling up the pressure on ourselves, but I'm expecting to see us winning that game today. The ladies are ready, the coaches are ready, so let's go out there and get it.
Good one. Let's go there and get it. Coming from Tujo Eleke, talking to us from Kaduna there. While we're still having Feromi Jeremiah. Feromi, let's hear your own view. We will be playing against New Zealand today by 12:30. Though the ladies tried their best against Germany, they lost by 2-1. New Zealand lost against Chile by 3-1. And it's as if the two teams that lost in their first game are right now meeting. What's your take on this?
Thank you very much once again. I must appreciate this moment for being on air this morning. And for me, I have to say that the game against New Zealand really showed, the game against Germany really showed the tactical deficiency that our squad is really suffering from at the moment. If you look at the way we played from the first half down to the second half, we can actually say that the Germans had better chances than us. However, we got the goal in the first half, but we know that goal wasn't just something that was well worked on the way the Germans actually scored Nigeria. It was through free kick, which sometimes can actually be a game of luck, because free kick sometimes, if you are very good with it, you can get it. But when you look at the style of play, the build-up with the situation, even from the first half, we know that, okay, this defense line, we're actually draining. And in the second half, the bright start they had got dimmed because of the fact that tactically we were not really sound. So that's another thing that we should take note. Now we are playing against New Zealand. If you see the way the New Zealand, that team played against Chile, I got to watch some clips about that match. And if you the way those guys, both sides play, we know that Nigeria is actually in a group of death. Because these other teams, these guys are really very, very sound. They are very, very sound tactically. Their approach, and even start from the way we start our games, the way these players were scouted, the way they were being trained, and every other thing shows that women football, even in Nigeria, is still underdeveloped, if I must say. So now it's just in the fact that the best thing for us is we get the victory, we get the best way, we get the victory, the maximum point. That's the only way that we can still keep going in this competition. But if we don't, and we are playing against New Zealand, if I must say, that squad, I'm not putting all my eggs in basket for the Flamingos.
Okay, well, Feromi is saying, well, it's not really too sure that Flamengo can actually defeat New Zealand, but from the way it is, we just have to believe in them and support them. Well, Tunji, you have actually spoken that maybe the ladies can actually come out proud, but looking at the style, the tactics that will be employed by the coach, that's Luokere against New Zealand, even though New Zealand lost against Chile. Don't you see that New Zealand coming out that, okay, they don't want to lose their second game, just the way Flamingos will also be coming out to see how they can also hold their own against the New Zealanders?
Yes, exactly. That's actually the remarkable difference between the first game and the second game. It's usually when you go into competitions, you always want to win your first game. You always want to win your first game. You want to ensure that every time you get your chance, you win your first game and don't pile up the pressure, because once you don't get the maximum points in the first game, it becomes different and difficult in the second game. Now, talking about tactics, I totally agree with Feromi because we saw the same thing happen in the Under 17 Africa Championship also. Was it trying to remember who we came up against? We saw the same things happening. The talent is there. Oh, sorry, I think I'm referring to the under 20 women. Actually, tactics is always a problem. Selection wise is also usually an issue, but talent is something that we cannot do any mistake of. Talents are there, though these are people that have not been exposed to competition at this level, but getting the team cohesion is always very important, especially when you are playing at the World Cup at the highest level, at least at that grade level. It's always important that you get your acts right. It's always important that you get your tactics right. Your selection, team selection, usually on the day is very, very important also. Just alluding to what Feromi has actually said.
Okay, good one there. While we are hoping that our ladies will do us proud, Feromi and Tuji Eleke, they've been talking concerning this game. Well, over, over there in Europe, it was a night we can call Uzoho night. He did so well against Manchester United. A lot of people were wondering, the same Uzoho that actually kept for Super Eagles, and he wasn't really get himself, and right now he's doing so well playing for Omonio Nicosia against Manchester United. Was it because he was playing at Manchester United home? Well, a lot of answers there. Good one for Francis Uzoho, who did well just yesterday. A lot of action for Uzoho in that game, and he did so well against Manchester United. I have to celebrate the Nigerian goalkeeper for what he did against Manchester United. Well, let's look at the Europa League as we talk about the results of the games that was played. Although we're talking about Francis Uzoho, maybe we should start with Uzoho first. Tuji, I'm sure a lot of Nigerians were not expecting that particular performance from the goalkeeper. He did so well against Manchester United, and in fact, Ronaldo has to be laughing with him. Good one there. Tuji, first of all, let's start with Francis Uzoho. His performance against Manchester United was something out of this world.
Obviously, we were all very surprised. I won't lie, because you cast your mind back to the Algeria game. So many matches that we can. It's been a very long time we saw. Let's not even forget that even in the Cyprus League, when they play their domestic leagues, he's not even a guaranteed starter. I don't know how many of us were able to catch his tweets when he was talking about the fact that he's happy to play at the Old Trafford and all of that. And someone commented and said, "Please allow us score." You know, and he was like, he's not even sure if he's going to start the game. And that's exactly what the situation with Uzoho. Even at his club, he's not guaranteed a starting position, and that tells you the quality of the guy himself. You know, as a player, ball distribution, not so good, shot stopping abilities, average. You know, the truth of the matter is we shouldn't get carried away about his performance on the night. Obviously, there were motivations for him to want to do so well or for that particular game, but overall, it's not as if Francis Uzoho is such an outstanding goalkeeper. Obviously, man of the match on. He's playing against Cristiano Ronaldo and all of that. I was very, very sad when I saw Scott McTominay score that particular goal at the end of the game. I was sad about it, but let's not get carried away, because we sort of maybe the conditions in the Super Eagles camp is different. Maybe the motivation is different in the Super Eagles camp, but these guys have a way of dropping master classes for their clubs. But the question is, when they come to the Super Eagles, what goes wrong? What goes wrong that these guys can't drop that same level of performances? And I just ruled the performance against Ghana, because that's the reason why obviously we are not at the World Cup. But good night for Francis Uzoho. I just hope this is the motivation that he needs to become a better goalkeeper.
Hopefully we get better there. Talking about Francis Uzoho, Tuji Eleke. Well, from the way it is, one of those nights that your outstanding performance will just come up, and really Uzoho will be thanking his stars for the fact that he displayed magnificently against Manchester United just overnight. Well, Feromi, I'm sure you'll be agreeing with Tuji for concerning Uzoho's performance.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, actually, you know, it's all against my club. You know, I'm a Manchester United person. I actually have soft spot for Manchester United. But you know, the way it's all been on the goalpost, and he playing his first, I think his first game, this season was something that I wasn't really expecting that much from him, because of his previous, because of his antecedents in matches that were very crucial. That game was very crucial for Nicosia. They needed that match badly, so for them to stay in the Europa League. But unfortunately, you know, that last goal from Scott McTominay, becoming the first player after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 1999, the Champions League final, as a substitute scorer in the 90th minute. You know, that was something that was for me, it was a brilliant performance, an extraordinary one. You know, people never saw that coming, especially the outer shot from Marcus Rashford, which was quite similar to the one he conceded to Thomas Partey against Ghana in Abuja. It was something that it was just quite different for Francis Ozor. And for me, I think it might replay Fabiano, 40-year-old Fabiano, who's currently not good at the moment. I think he's having issues with injuries at the moment. So I think it's actually a very good one for the 23-year-old, and he had just showed himself. He had given himself that platform. Transfer window might be beckoning on him to come around to another bigger side, because yesterday he made 13 saves. For me, it was just too different. It was Uzor's night, and I hope that he will be able to continue this way. I think he had already shown the difference between himself and Maduka Okoye, that okay, he has the right to remain the number one goalkeeper of the Super Eagles.
Well, just while you are saying that, according to Tunji, we should not be carried away with that one performance from Uzoho. We should just be very careful. It could be one of those nights that action will just come for you. Well, from the way it is, at least Uzoho, he has had his own. He did well against Manchester United, and you can't take that away from him. Now, quickly, let's look at the result as it went down across different stadiums in Europe, in the Europa Cup, Europa League results. Quickly, let's look at the result as it went down. Talking about Europa League now, we talked about Bodo Glimt. They were beaten by Arsenal by lone goal, and Saka is the man. He did well right now. He's making that particular team one of the best when it comes to this competition now, because Arsenal, both at home and also in Europa League, they are doing well. PSV Eindhoven 5-0 against Zurich. Larnaca 1, Fenerbahce 2, Reims 1. They defeated Dynamo Kiev, and Real Betis did 1-1 against AS Roma. Ludogorets, they defeated Helsinki by 2-0. Union Sporting Braga 3-3. Union Berlin Malmo 1-0 in favor of Union Berlin Germany. And still talking about the other result now, let's look at the completion of the Europa League result, where matches were also played in Europe. While we talk about that, now we look at Manchester United 1-0 against Omonia Nicosia, where Usoho did well for himself and also for his club. Real Sociedad 3, Sheriff Tiraspol 0, Feyenoord 2-2 against Midtjylland. You have Graz against Lazio ending 2-2. Karabakh, it was 0-0 against Olympiacos. Nantes 0, Freiburg 4. A good one for Freiburg, the team from Germany. They are really showing class. Red Star Brigade, they lost against Ferencváros of Hungary 2-1. While Trabzonspor, they actually did well against Monaco as they trashed them 4-0 there. Trabzonspor trashing Monaco. Well, from the way it is, Tunji, you can tell me that Manchester United, a great night for them, although it was difficult before they could get that one goal from McTominay, who broke that record since 1999. And for Arsenal, really, Saka is the man, doing well for them right now.
Yes, it wasn't it wasn't a fluke that he was back-to-back Arsenal Player of the Year. By the way, since Feromi is a Manchester United fan, I am a big Arsenal fan, and it's lovely to see. And one thing that I like about what Manchester United and Arsenal are actually doing is the fact that they have the ability to win pretty. But when the situation demands that you win dirty, you do it. Talking about Arsenal, last night in the Europa League was not a pretty win for the, obviously for it's not natural grass on that pitch at Bodo Glimt. That probably gave some reason why the performance went the way it did, but also the fact that some of the players at Arsenal are actually showing that probably they still need a lot to learn to step up. Players like Albert Sambi Lokonga, for example, had a decent game, but he was a little bit lethargic in that game also. So Arsenal just had to do what they needed to do, and with a stroke of luck, we saw the way Saka scored his goal. He scored a goal that he probably wasn't so sure about the way it came in, but the build-up play, and then when the senior players came in also, it showed a little bit of steel. It gave the Arsenal team a little bit of spine playing and going forward. So it's a good win for Arsenal. They continue to rack up the 3 points. 11th win in their last 12 in the 12 matches they've played this season. So it's a pretty good. They didn't have to play pretty or win pretty. They just had to get the point going into the next round of games over the weekend. They have a big game coming up over the weekend also. So it's good for their confidence. It's good for the confidence of Arsenal. It is even good for the confidence of the players themselves, because they really need to start believing in themselves. Erik ten Hag is an awesome manager, and you can see what he's actually doing. And to think that it was Scott McTominay, who is not the most liked of players, that got that goal. It says a lot for their confidence.
Good one, but I really imagine an Arsenal fan talking about Manchester United. Good one there. Our sports can really bring a unity. Well, for Feromi, at least Tuji has really helped you one way or the other by saluting your saluting your coach, being one of the best coaches, Erik ten Hag, according to Tuji, who is an Arsenal fan, which is not too common between Arsenal fans and Manchester United. I'm sure you want to reciprocate that particular love that he has shown you, Feromi.
Okay, thank you very much. I must say that could actually without every other coach getting on a new environment, and I must say again that Mikel Arteta has really built a team of young and vibrant people, young players who are very energetic, who are hungry to play ball. And remember when the time he had issues with Aubameyang and Mesut Ozil, and we were like, okay, if the club is actually going to continue without these guys, but he was able to contain the situation. Last season was not really fine for them. They picked up very, very early, very well this season, and we are seeing how they've been able to break the giants in the league. The first time they met with Tottenham, they defeated Liverpool, and now they'll be facing Manchester City. I must say, if Arsenal defeat Manchester City this weekend, then I think I'll just take a bow for them.
Okay, you are not ready to take a bow right now.
Oh, yeah.
What a way to go there. Fans talking about their club. A good night for the Nigeria, and that's Uzoho, despite losing that game there against Manchester United. For Manchester United and Arsenal, they did well. They were able to get their acts together. Saka scoring there, McTominay and Ronaldo doing the way Messi did for Yama, as you remember the World Cup, and now they have that particular smile. Well, we've been talking concerning Europa League fixtures result, rather, all the matches that were played over the night. Now, Tunji, you did this particular result, Trabzonspor beating Monaco 4-0. That was not a game that you expect such a goal coming from Trabzonspor winning 4-0 against Monaco. What really happened?
Well, Monaco themselves have not been so good. If you look at it, Monaco have had their own issues over the years. The last time they had such a good team was the Kylian Mbappe generation. They had the Timoe Bakayoko. They had Fabinho. They had this other guy that I think Bernardo Silva also was in that team. Also, over the years, it has been a steady decline for. They are not doing so well at the moment. For actually a team that we seem to overlook. For the last, I've been following their progresses, not been able to know the names of players that they've signed, but following. Recently, they won the French, the Turkish league. They won the title. I think about a year or 2 years ago. They won the title there. So they are actually a team on the rise as far as Trabzonspor is concerned. And taking a look at that, taking a look at their group as it is. It's been quite a pretty movement for them as it is. I have issues with my connection here. I'm not able to look at their group as it is. But For Trabzonspor, I'm actually impressed with the way they have been moving. And come on, man, you can't go to Turkey and expect. We saw that in the stadium yesterday. So all of these things played its own part and ensured that Trabzonspor actually gets the 3 points they needed in that game. And what a bashing, 4-0. It tells the story. It tells the story of that particular game.
Good one there. Tunji Oyeleke, join us from Kaduna. Well, it's been a wonderful time with you. And before you go, let's quickly hear the final one from Feromi. Feromi, you agree with me, it was a night of action from different angles in Europe. The likes of AS Roma playing out a draw. And you have to look at all the other teams that did well. But for the big boys, the German team, Freiburg, Union Berlin, they've really shocked everyone so far this season.
That's I'm talking about. That's the former club of Awuni. Yes, that's it's really showed that I think every club in Europe right now, they are now taking things very serious. Nobody wants to be left alone. You know, so Real Betis yesterday against AS Roma. AS Roma stopped Real Betis 100% home record last night, where Jose Mourinho came around and he picked a point, and that was very, very important for him, crucial for him there. You know, and it shows that everybody now is busy. Look at what Nicosia did to Manchester United, the first leg and the second leg. I must say that Nicosia were even better because an underdog coming around and just being defeated with just a lone goal. We saw what happened in the Champions League to Copenhagen against Manchester City. So these things are something that I'm saying that in the European competitions these days, no club can be left alone. And even it's going to happen like that too. Even in the CAF Champions League in Nigeria, in Africa too, we are seeing these changes too happening. People now know that okay, no club is an underdog or no club can be left alone. Anybody can be beaten right now.
Good one there. That's a good wrap from Feromi joining us from Lagos, even though he has some itch there. But really, we want to appreciate you, Tunji Oyeleke from Kaduna. Thank you very much, Tunji, for those analyses.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the chance to be with you this morning.
Good one there. Well, for Feromi too, we appreciate you. We have to go now. 360 Sports on Trust TV. We've had a good time with the two of them talking about the matches played, and they've also showed their concern concerning our ladies. That's the Flamingos. They'll be fighting out against New Zealand by 12:30 p.m. and we believe and hope that they will bring us good tidings there, as they have been charged by NFL President Ibrahim Gusso to go all out there and do well against New Zealand. I still hope for them to at least wrap it up against the New Zealand team. That's it on 360 Sport. I am Adeni Ajishafe. Thanks for watching.